when fire and rescue crews arrived, they were confronted with a well-developed fire. It was quite an aggressive fire in the front of the house. They had to battle that to gain entry into the property, and they commenced a search for the occupants. They were able to locate the first of the residents and start to remove her from the property. As they were doing so, the fire was increasing in intensity and the roof of the property was collapsing around them. So talking to the firefighters, they spoke about the debris falling down, but also that they were getting caught and snagged and tangled on bits of debris and other furnishings from the house. They were able to remove the lady from the property, and they were met at the door by New South Wales ambulance paramedics who commenced resuscitation attempts. The fire then developed to the stage where it was no longer safe for the crews to remain inside. They had to retreat out of the property for a short while until they'd knocked the fire down sufficiently, and then they were able to re-enter the property and resume their search for the second occupant. Unfortunately, then they found the second member of the household, and it was the second deceased person there. And it's really challenging for firefighters to be in those situations. They give their all to try and get into the property. They'll do everything they can when they know there's a life at risk. So it tells you something about the conditions that they were encountering, that they had to pause their internal efforts to try and find the second person due to the conditions they encountered. So the flames were big bright orange flames. They were starting to go through the roof. The thing that you sort of can't communicate easily is the heat that comes from that. There's a degree of heat that's bottled up inside the property, so there's that residual heat inside the property in addition to the heat from the radiant heat from the flames. So it's a very challenging situation. Their view's obstructed by smoke. They're trying to find their way around and try to get over the debris and bits and pieces that are falling down and have been disturbed in the scene. So to then do all that, fighting the fire as they're going, finding the victim, and then starting to pull them out of the property, it's a very challenging working environment for our firefighters. The firefighters that were here today are all very experienced, and their immediate commanders have said to me, they've never seen them work as hard and as tough as they did this morning. So they really did give it their all. Unfortunately, it's not the outcome that we would have liked. Look, we're really asking people this winter to be safe, not sorry, to spend a few minutes checking things at home that can make all the difference to the safety and the well-being of their family. Things like checking your smoke alarms, making sure that it's working, making sure that it's got a battery in it. Taking the time with your family to develop a home fire escape plan so that you sit down with your family, understand the escape routes that you may have in a fire, and then also, very importantly, where you would meet up outside of the property. Big key there is we don't want people to go back into their property. Once they're out, stay out, call fire and rescue out. Simple things like cleaning the lint filter in your clothes dryer, making sure that you're not overloading power boards, keeping things a metre from the heater so that you're drying clothes or towels or whatever, you're not putting them right on top of the heaters. Setting it back a metre stops them from catching fire and will keep everyone safer. It certainly is important for all those sort of family and social connections to be looking after people, particularly those who may be more vulnerable to fires when they do occur. Fire and Rescue New South Wales, we have a campaign of safety visits, and firefighters will come and visit people in their homes and talk to them about those things that will keep them as safe as possible from fire and what actions they should take in the event of a fire. So I'd encourage anyone who's interested or concerned about the safety and well-being of friends or family to make contact with their local fire station and arrange a fire safety visit from our crews. Look, winter's always a concern for us. Winter's a time when we do see an increase in house fires, and we unfortunately see an increase in injuries and fatalities. This year we're 3 days into winter, and unfortunately we've now had 3 fatalities. So it is just really underscores the importance of all those fire prevention and safety messages that we put out.